does this conclude?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah, unless there's anything else you wanted to disclose
Uh,
before we end.
I normally ask my guests if they would want to do this again, but you already established that you would.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I guess thank you for coming on.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to be on here. It was pretty awesome. It was like the first time I've ever like done anything podcast wise, let alone on a video. So it's pretty cool.
It took us a while to get this far, but
Yeah,
we
a
got it
lot
done.
of yeah.
It took actually lasted longer than I expected, and you know, it's not a bad thing. I'm actually kind of glad. There's just more for me to listen in on.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Any last words?
Uh, I guess just take life one step at a time and always make sure you can find the time to take a step back and look at where you've been and where you want to go, and hopefully you'll find where you want to go.
Spoken like a true saint. I'm not kidding when I say you're the most annoying person I ever interviewed.
Just because I think too much. uh, because it's like, because I've talked to my mom, right, and my sister, like, and my dad, occasionally, like, just like a heart to heart like this, right, because I just wanted to change that norm, right, just get all this out, right,
Hmm.
so, like, even they kind of said, like, you're always, like, kind of well-spoken and smart. I don't feel like I'm well-spoken because I, like, stutter words and get stuck on stuff like that, but,
That just makes you human.
and, like, yeah, there you go, exactly, so, yep, I don't have way too much experience talking, I'm just, I got so much on my mind to talk about, and I love to talk. So, well, I'm not that much of a people person. Ironically, I'm an introvert, like a severe introvert. Like I'll
Really?
stay home, yeah. But if the people I'm talking to, right, are just generally cool people, or that's we just vibe out, we can talk about whatever, right?
Mhm.
Dude, I'll talk out forever. I'm like the most extrovert of extroverts at that point, right? But when it comes to like that, like complete strangers, and to the point where like no one's really interacting, it's kind of like awkward, or I'm at work doing something else, and I'm like, I'm generally gonna be more reserved and all of that stuff. So that's how I am at. So it's interesting. Like there's a duality to me, right? Like for every notion of me that there is, which is a weird way of putting it, there's the flip side of it, right?
Hmm.
So as much as I can be introverted, I can be extroverted, and it just kind of depends on it. I'm just at gist of it, I'm like highly adaptable to situations and stuff like that because I think so much and how stuff like that. Right, like I'm a weird case, I guess, in that regard.
I'm also very introverted, but I'm trying to get the grasp of, talking to people, and I need to do that if I'm gonna be a counselor, and I guess podcast is a good way to start.
Yeah, it actually is a great way to start. I think, like because not only are you developing these questions right, and you're forced to like listen, and then it's not like as if those questions are always going to yield the same answer for each person.
Hmm.
So, and you're analyzing how the person reacts independent of whether you're going to bring that up or not. In terms of counseling, you'll be able to actually bring that up because it's your job, because you need to be like, well, I've noticed this from your, stuff like that, because psychology is pretty deep.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm like a know-it-all too, because like I've done science, I've done psychology, I've done art, I've done all sorts of stuff. But I'm not like a master of any of these, so I'm like a jack of all trades in a way. But I do know enough that I'm not like a complete knob at any of them, right?
Hmm.
And I'm also aware of when I I'm not really quite sure of something, so I make that apparent. So there's probably why people say I'm well spoken. I'm just fascinated by things, so.
Well, you're a very fascinating person, to say the least.
I'm glad you hear that. I think I would hate to be a boring person and have this drive to talk so much to people.
You know, because I haven't actually interviewed a full-fledged adult, I I guess a lot of my questions is just what have you done? What are your I guess what are you doing now, and what do you still want to do? And
Ah,
I can still ask a full-fledged adult, what is he or she still wants to do, but
mhm.
I don't know. I feel like the younger that you are, the more thought that person's gonna have.
Yeah, because just the beginning of your journey. So,
Mhm.
for me, well, like I said before, just working in Walgreens, doing programming right now for classes, kind of getting stuff a little resorted because I took a lot of time to be okay with myself and the things and how I was feeling with stuff, right? Like, not going to get too much because that's a whole other rabbit hole in itself, right? Um, but uh, so I've kind of situated myself a little bit better, and now I'm like, all right, I'm determined to finish school, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get it done so I can get to my next stage, which is developing my own card game, or being a part of a team that's developing games in general, or something like that, right?
Mhm.
Programmer. I want to be on that side. I want to be the one able to not only maybe eventually direct a game, but have the experience to know what it takes to make a game from the ground up and stuff like that. And everything. I just want to know as much as I can about it. I want to, because in the very far future, I would love to direct a game, right? Maybe even a AAA level game, as far as budget wise, kind of thing.
Mhm.
I want to have that notoriety as far as the games I create with my team, you know, they're great and good or stuff like that. Hopefully, because we all put our heart and souls into it, right? It's not just a cash grab or anything like that. It's because we wanted to do it because it's something we cherished or begin to love to do, things like that. Because I don't want to go about my life and feel like I'm just trying to survive or do things like that. Because I could, if that was the case, I'd just rather not be born and just die. I don't. I want to, because it's what the point? I'm just a robot. What's the point of this free will and all these feelings and all that stuff like that? If I'm just doing things to survive, I might as well just not be alive. At least that's my hot take on it.
Mhm.
Obviously, don't go committing suicide or crazy stuff like that. But um, the only reason I got away from my despair. Well, I mean, I haven't got away from my despair, but I haven't been consumed by it entirely, right, and given up is because I'm a stubborn punk that just keeps ramming his head against the wall. Uh, just I haven't given up, and I won't because it just didn't make sense to me to give up. I have a lot going for me, so
Mhm.
I'm I just gotta make the most of that, despite what I'm feeling, right? And because it's not like I'm devoid of desire to do more, right? I have these ambitions, right? So it's despite my gripes with the world and other things, let's just do something. So that's kind of how I kept myself together, I guess you could say. Because I could have easily just given up, whether that be I'm dead or went down the wrong path, right? Like just because I had both my parents and I actually had support there, right? Because it's not like my parents were crazy or anything, thank God. Um, but they weren't perfect parents either. So it's there were things that happened as far as that pressure, like I mentioned before. There was a pressure, I gotta do good, I gotta impress them.
Mhm.
That like that was partly their fault, but a lot more my fault in a way too. Technically, as much fault it is mine because they gave birth to me. And that's I gain their quirks from them, so there's that. Because it's funny because I was at work and someone like admitted it's like because their kid they were trying out different formulas, right? Um, and the one that they found that she would actually eat, she was allergic to. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. Like, yeah, but it's our fault because we're the ones that are all allergic. And I'm like, you know what? I just realized like I'm all like tensed up and so hard on myself because like my parents are too, or like my mom especially rather, you know, things like that. So, but it's not like it should be an excuse or a thing that defines you. Like you said, like you don't want your situation to define you. Same way for me. So, so that's why I'm like still, but I also still want it to be like, where do I really want to go? Right? Like I don't want to just like follow what people just tell me to do. And so as far as like immediate goals, finish prerequisites, transfer out to ASU, get the rest of that done. Um, maybe in between there, either move out with some friends and or like if I like have enough cash on the side right once I'm done, or most likely after schooling because I think that's smarter for me. Um, so I could like save up more because in between classes, God, stuff is expensive in college. My God. Um, and I'm not even at a university yet. Uh, like for 3 classes it was like 800 and something. So it's just like community college. But after that, yeah, like move out with friends or by myself, preferably with friends because I think that would be a hell of a lot of fun. Um, and then and cost effective since it's be split amongst however many of us could fit in there. Um, and then get a car, which I'm kind of a big car guy thanks to my dad. And there's a Nissan revealed they have a 400Z. I think I really want to get that because it's only a proto design and it already looks pretty good. I think I have some gripes with it, but since it's a proto and they keep saying it's that, I feel like once the like model that's made for people to buy will probably look even way better than it does right now, and I'm super down for that. To get that car, that'd be so cool. Um, and I already explained like the far future thing, the whole gaming stuff. So yeah, I think that's kind of the gist of that. I know it's kind of all over the place with that, but
It's alright.
how I am. Sorry about that.
You're right. My first guest was really quiet, and so I had to edit, things together because there was a lot of like long pauses, and I'm sort of glad I didn't have to. This doesn't seem like this podcast is going to be very edit heavy, which is good.
Yeah, yeah, because there wasn't really there's a few interruptions here and there and like mic issues, but yeah,
I could fix that. That's easily fixable.
yeah. Ah, well, this has been fun. Actually, like legitimately really fun.
And yeah, because one of my other guests, that one of my friends that I normally play with, he um he asked that because I already interviewed him, that's the end of it, and I said no, not at all. This is my podcast. This is how I do things. I can totally redo. Not, I wouldn't say redo. Or yeah, I will.
But like edit in new parts or take out things, stuff like that.
I would not like that. I will not redo. I would just do like a different podcast again, like another one. Like if he wants
Yeah,
to talk about something else.
to add on to it.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's sort of dumb that Share Factory limits me to an hour, but it's whatever.
Yeah, so you have to do like two, 3 different sets, so or so, or more actually, because it probably leaked into 4 hours now.
Yeah. Whew. Jesus.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. You know, when I started this, I was wondering about if any family will be you know, included. And I'm glad I got you in. I'm glad I got Adam in. There's some other family members I want to get a hold of, but they don't. I'm only limited to PlayStation, so. But it is what it is. I'll figure it out later on.
Yeah. Okay, aside from the video, who were you thinking of family-wise? Anybody I personally know or would know off the top of my head? Because I'm terrible with names, though, so... And faces.
Maybe your dad?
I
And.
could get my dad on here pretty easily.
True, but I'll probably have to work on what to like topics.
Yeah, yeah. Just let me
Cause
know when you want, and then I can ask him like tomorrow because he already went to bed. But I'll let you know like when he's free and stuff like that, and if he's down. Most likely he will. Dad's really chill like that.
Cause not only I have to like write down topics, I have to like I think like just in case in the heat of the moment, I have to like ask a question just just to keep things like interesting and not quiet and awkward.
Yeah.
At first, I struggled with this, but I have been getting the hang of it.
Yeah, it takes time. I can imagine to like really get your foothold into things.
And I guess from another person you would know, maybe I guess maybe my uncle Billy.
Oh yeah.
Though yeah, that's even though he lives with me, it's sort of hard to do because I do this over PlayStation. And
Yeah.
I guess Emmanuel, I think his name, Uncle Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would want to know how he got his job and whatnot, cause and yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. That'd be cool. Yeah, definitely good luck with that, because I can see like being limited to any platform always kind of just sucks.
That's why I look
Yeah.
forward to doing this in person and I guess inviting people out.
Yeah.
All right, well, my timer is about to run out for the third time, so let's wrap this up. We already said, uh, you know, we're grateful for coming on, and we'll just end it here.
Yeah.